Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Yael, aka Mama Yaya, and on this channel we'll be talking all things motherhood, simple living, and homeschooling. Today we'll be doing a homeschool room tour with some organizational tips along the way, so stick around and let's get it. So the first stop on our tour is this library area here. Starting from the top shelf, the first thing that I'd like to point out is that there are two sides to this library, and the way that I've chosen to lay it out is so that whatever is on the shelf that is at the same height, there is some kind of relationship there. So this top shelf all the way across is overflow items. We like to store extra toys and unit study items and things like that that maybe we're not using in this season, but we'll definitely have a use for at another time. This shelf is dedicated to our reading curriculum and writing. And I have things organized so that everything related to those subjects are at easy access. We have our markers and our dry erasers. I love these little bins. I got these at Target, and I'm pretty sure you can find them anywhere. These are amazing bins. I love these bins because they are great for organizing small but really annoying and messy items like pieces of chalk. Moving to the other side, we have all of our math curriculum, and as you can see here, a lot of math manipulatives. What I love about this area is this right here. This is an extra shelf. A lot of people tend to use it in their kitchen cabinets and things like that, and I have used it here so that we can maximize the amount of space and things that we can store. On the bottom here, we have our Unifix cubes and a suitcase full of dominoes. No, I promise, it's just dominoes. On top of that, we have this clear bin that I think was supposed to be used for cans, and I just used it to house our math manipulatives. We have geo boards here, and I want to point out these pencil cases. I love them so much. These are clear pencil cases, and what I love about it is that they're color coded. I have attribute blocks here for our building thinking skills book, and this is where the color coding I think comes in handy because you can actually put all the pieces that are yellow in the yellow bag. If you're anything like me, that kind of stuff just kind of warms your heart. Moving on to this bottom shelf, on this side I have an overflow of workbooks and things that the kids can easily access. There are books in here and notebooks, easy readers, and on the other side I have our children's book library. I've purposefully made sure that these things were easily accessible for the kids so that whenever they want to read a book, it's right there for them and they can just come in here and grab one. Below that, I have our puzzles. Puzzles, especially jigsaw puzzles with all the little pieces, are particularly annoying to organize, and I feel like I finally found a really good solution for that. What I have done here is I purchased these mesh paper separators, and I've used that as a way to separate all of the puzzles. Then I purchased these pencil cases, again, that are clear pencil cases, but they are bigger and a little bit more sturdy than the ones I showed you before. So these work fantastic to store these little puzzle pieces. And honestly, yes, sometimes the kids pull out all the puzzles and it gets really messy, but we have the right amount of pencil cases for each category of puzzles. So it's not hard to put things away, especially for the kids. You want to create systems that are easy for your children, especially to follow. If they're not logical for your family, chances are they're gonna have a really challenging time following the system. So over here we have a pot holder that I've used to organize extra puzzles that are a little bit smaller so that it meets right here and it doesn't interfere with these puzzles that are organized vertically. Right next to our little library in the corner here where not too many people can see is our headphones and scissors and extra supplies. Below that we have a storage cart which I've chosen to store their tablets on, as well as this filing system that I'm using for each kid. What I like to do is make sure I file away any worksheets that the kids may have completed during the week, and then I can place them into binders at a later time to track their progress. Behind that, we just have some extra items that we will use throughout the day for different activities. These storage carts don't have too much in them. I have things that we need fast and quick access to. So our little money counting for my oldest, her 10 frame and little tokens that she uses to count. And the way I've laid this out is the first 3 jars are for my oldest child, and then we progress down for the preschooler and so on. This desk, I will say, is primarily used for my oldest and the work that she's doing. So she has her Fluency Binder set up here. I have these 2 chalkboards mounted to the wall, and one of them is dedicated to money counting for now, and the other is dedicated to practicing our sight words and sounds for the week. On the left is something that we've tried to use as far as scheduling goes, and it works pretty well, but I'm gonna tell you something right now, we do not follow these times at all. One thing that I learned really quickly in homeschooling is you just need to go with the flow sometimes, and as long as you have a skeleton of a routine, things are going to work out in terms of productivity. So the most important number on this side is the biggest number. And so what this has done is this has allowed us to have a routine of things, general things that we want to accomplish by lunchtime. Let's say the kids are at number 4 and they're taking a break and maybe they're doing their exploration and I'm nursing the baby. Then they say, hey, mommy, can we do tablets now? I'll say, well, what's the next thing on our list? And so they'll look at number 5 and say, okay, this is what we have to do next. So the list speaks for itself, and it's really helpful to keep us on track during the day. Below that, I have decided to mount this clear bin. It's like a filing bin to the wall so that we can have faster, quicker access to these dry erase boards. Over here in this corner, I have this open shelving system. It's very industrial. On the top, I have my beloved pothos plants. Below that, I have a natural weave tray that I'm storing our writing implements that we use pretty often. This is a shelf that is dedicated specifically for my oldest daughter. One tip I have for you if you have multiple children is to consider having a little spot for each kid, and in particular, older children. Older children tend to get a little bit more independent and want to have their own space for things. And so it's my special way to show them that they have a special spot in our homeschool room where they can pick up things that are directly related to what they're learning and doing. As we work our way to the bottom 2 shelves, you'll notice they are quite empty. I like to keep these shelves pretty minimal. We have instruments here right now that we have out because we were doing specific activities with those instruments. Directly next to those shelves is a little gallery wall area with our scripture that we are memorizing. And next to that, we have a little corner for my son, who is a toddler. He loves to just play with the kitchen stuff while we do our circle time. In front of the couch is my favorite spot. This is the area that we sit and do our circle time. We also have this bean bag here, which we love to sit on while we're doing our reading and grammar and things like that. Directly across from that is our circle time board and our particular take on the morning basket. So as you can see here, our calendar is pretty empty. That is because I have not filled it up yet. Normally what we will do is fill up the entire calendar for the month, and then as the days pass, we just simply take it down and we put it in our little handy dandy clear pencil case. That pencil case then gets put into this bin, and we purchased this at Home Goods, otherwise known as the Mothership. This is a great system because I was able to mount it at a height that my toddler can't get to, but my other 2 kids can. So when it's time to do our reading for the day, it's easy for them to pull books out and cozy up with me on the couch and read. Our focus for circle time is the weather and the date, which is why our whiteboard is primarily filled up with those things. On the bottom, I have a basket with puppets and things like that that we love to grab and use to sing with. Right now, we are not really hosting too many people, so I've decided to use this space as our arts and crafts / you can get messy in here and use sensory bins and play with dirt and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so I know what some of you may be thinking, girl, where are your chairs? Well, right now we're in a season of life where we have a toddler who likes to climb up and get into everything that we're doing at the table. So we've opted to keep our dining chairs that belong to the set in the basement and move chairs around on our first floor as we need it. I also have my preschooler mainly working in here. And this is her Fluency Binder that I highly recommend from JD Alvarez. I can link that down below. I have some crayons here stored in a bin that is actually really cool. It hooks onto one another, and I think this was from Home Goods. Again, this is just a great way to organize crayons because these bins are short, and so the crayons have some room to be seen. I purchased this vinyl tablecloth from Amazon, and because I have a toddler who loves to pull things down, I have used some Velcro to attach it at different points in the table. Now, one thing you may be thinking is, well, will that destroy the finish? I asked myself the same question. I tested it out, and it was actually fine. Over here, I have a little table and chairs set up for my preschooler when she does come and do her work. And I love these baskets. I purchased them on Amazon, but I feel like you can find these, pretty much anywhere now. Over here, we have all of our arts and crafts, our sensory bins and things like that. And I have them in clear bins stored up high so that it's easy to see what's inside of them, but they're high enough where it's not completely accessible for my young children. Below that, we have Play-Doh here. And honestly, this was just my attempt to see, is this gonna work for us? Is this something we can use to maybe display kids' work or things like that? And so I'm just kind of playing around with that now. And that's something I would encourage you to do too. Use what you have, play around with it, and see what works best for you. Below that, we have office supplies, some more office supplies. And here we have flashcards that we will be using throughout the year, and perhaps things that are specifically related to unit studies. Over here is some clear sheet protectors and laminate sheets. On this side, we have pom-poms. These are wood trays and baskets that I like to pull out and use to store different activities that the kids are working on. Below that, we have a paper tray, and I have my cup of writing utensils and scissors. I know this seems like a hodgepodge of things, but these are things that we actively grab for during the day for our learning, so it makes sense for us to have these things here. I hope you've enjoyed this tour today. Please remember to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know exactly when I post another video. To all the mamas out there, I want to encourage you that this is a season unlike any other, and it's crazy. So have grace for yourself. Looking forward to seeing you in the next one. Take care.